Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So I wanted to touch on a result from Tuesday that hasn't really been talked about enough. I briefly mentioned it during the video that I did covering all the results we saw from these 5 states, but something happened in Idaho that I think was worth talking about. Now, it is true that primarying Simpson did not exactly go the way that we wanted, and primarying Brad Little didn't exactly go the way that we wanted either. However, still, the Attorney General's race did actually flip in the primary to the more grassroots America First candidate that was running, and also the state legislature saw a wide array of flips in the state House and the state Senate, where you see a lot of these grassroots America First candidates actually running and successfully primarying out the weak establishment RINOs in Boise. A lot more people are paying attention to local politics, and that is what this video is going to be about. So we're going to dive into it, but I have to tell you guys about our good friends over at My Patriot Supply. So we live in a very dangerous world, as we know. The unthinkable could happen at any time, and when it does, get ready for food shortages to happen quickly. So the smart thing to do is to prepare for the worst right now. You need emergency food to get you through whatever happens next, and I highly recommend My Patriot Supply, America's largest preparedness company. Act quickly, and you'll save $150 on a 3-month emergency food kit, which contains an abundance of delicious food that provides more than 2,000 calories a day. You'll get breakfasts, lunch, dinners, drinks, snacks, and more. 3 whole months worth per person. This is something every American family will soon need. Your shipment will ship quickly in unmarked boxes for your privacy. So go to preparewithredeagle.com and save $150 on every 3-month food kit, but do it now. That's preparewithredeagle.com. Don't be a victim. Survive what's coming and avoid government food lines. Go to preparewithredeagle.com. So Idaho, there were a lot of flips, double-digit flips, and they're afraid. The establishment media in Idaho, very afraid. They say far-right candidates see gains in legislature because everybody they don't like or everybody that's just a little bit too real is considered far-right, and we understand this. And it says that the Idaho legislature could see more than 40% turnover, which is absolutely huge. About 4 dozen seats will be filled by new lawmakers, regardless of general election outcomes. That includes at least 17 new members in the 35-seat Senate, which a lot of Republicans, the grassroots right, the America First authentic conservative right, just rode this wave of an anti-incumbent energy, and they defeated the incumbents in a lot of places, which was great to see. I mean, you see this double-digit incumbents in both the state Senate and the state House ended up losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the state Senate alone, 7. You look at the list, 7 out of the 35. So basically about a third of the Republicans in that state Senate are going to be replaced by grassroots challengers from the right, which is huge. America First patriots are rising up, and they are getting involved, and we love to see it. And they're building a bench, which is important because we know that there's a lot of weak RINOs in the state and in many other states across the country, not just Idaho, obviously. And a lot of the times, the people don't like these people, but there's no serious challenger to take them on. In some cases, they are, and you have too many of them, and they split the vote. In other cases, like what we're seeing in South Dakota for John Thune, there's nobody. There's nobody to fill that void, which is very important. You need to build a bench. It's very important to do so. And I tweeted this earlier today. I said state and local politics affects our way of life more than national politics, which it does. I mean, what happens in your state does affect your life more, and what happens in local politics arguably affects it even more. I mean, there are some things that are exclusively national. I understand that, and national politics matter too. But we talk about it a lot more than maybe we should, because we should at least start talking more about state and local politics. And like I said, it's much easier to have the good-based people primarying out the RINOs in Pierre, Boise, Lansing, Phoenix, wherever, you name it, Nashville, in those swamps. It's easier to get rid of those people than it is to get rid of the swamp in D.C. Now, the swamp in D.C. still needs to be drained, don't get me wrong, but we need stronger people getting involved in the state legislature, the state senate, because those people are going to be the next class of politicians. Go to these board meetings, take over the parties. This is what matters. If you could take over a county party, local party, state party, the national party will soon have to fall in line. And this is true. Different parties actually have different platforms across the nation. And in a state like Idaho or a state like Montana, the Dakotas, which we'll get to the map in a minute, but you could actually start to form this America First coalition, this authentic conservative coalition to start taking back power in this country and restore it to the hands of the authentic conservative patriots that care about it instead of the donor class. But you have to kind of infiltrate that class and make sure that you're able to get enough power on your side. Otherwise, you'll get like 10% in the primary and you're not going to get beyond that. So like I said, this will have a trickle-up effect. There will be a lot of good politicians that are going to come in and take over the state parties like we're seeing in Idaho that are going to lead to more national politicians that have name recognition, that have connections already on our side. It is so true. Unless you're like a star candidate that's like got some name recognition or a great story, you're not exactly going to be able to beat a lot of these incumbents. And some of the people that are capable of doing so already have a foot in the door with the party. So we got to get our foot in the door. That's a part of the game plan. Building a bench. That is what it's all about. And that's what we're seeing in a place like Idaho, and I'm sure we'll see it in a lot of other places. Here in Texas, we saw several incumbents lose their primaries. We love to see it. And you look at the fact that you have a lot of runoff elections that are coming up. It's important that we get rid of the establishment RINOs there. So if you live in Texas as a 63rd, I believe, or know people that do, make sure that they get out and vote on Tuesday for Jeff Younger. He's going to be a future star in the party for sure. And he's actually the dad of James Younger, who was in that infamous case where the mother, his ex-wife, Jeff Younger's ex-wife, decided to basically make the baby transition against Jeff's will and pretty much everybody else's will. So it's a very tragic situation, but he's actually a very intelligent, guy. He is America First through and through. He's running for that seat. And I think that if he wins, he will be a future star in the party, and that would be great. So like I said, these matter. These state legislative, these state senate elections absolutely make all of the difference in the world in the long run. They can be severely consequential. We just don't talk about them as much, partially because there's too many of them to talk about. I understand that. I probably could be talking about them a little bit more, but either way, it really is just something that people on the ground need to pay more attention to and get more involved in. And this is true. I mean, you look at the blank map. This is just a state map in the country. You want to fill it, and you could actually have a coalition of states here. Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, these super conservative states. You could add Appalachia to it. If you're able to take over the state parties in all of the red states, you're going to be able to have a coalition of states that, like I said, you're probably going to keep them in the Republican column for good because you can actually legislate to make your states more conservative, have that a part of their identity, make sure you could keep the liberal Californians out, make your states unpalatable to the left the same way that a lot of these states make themselves unpalatable to the right. And at the end of the day, we're going to be able to have a coalition that wins. You look at throughout the country, these are states that are on this map right here. These are either swing states or not swing states, but red-leaning swing states, states that could be close or within 10 that usually go Republican, or they are states that are solidly Republican. And maybe you could even add Wisconsin to that list, and you'll see it trickle down. The state parties across the swing states are going to get better over time too. And this is something that's not going to happen overnight. I understand that. We have to be pragmatic about it, but at the same time, we have to start getting involved now or it will be too late. But like I said, even if there is a, electoral winter that happens at some point in this country, you could still have a solid coalition of red-leaning states that are solidly Republican, and then maybe you could advocate for federalism at that point so you can actually get more things done, and we could still have a portion of America that's still solidly conservative for decades to come. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that we're going to take power, and like I said, this is part of it. And we're going to lower immigration. We're going to restore social conservative values into our culture, institutions, and society. And as a result, we are going to take back our nation to the point where I don't believe we'll have an electoral winter. if we can actually get this right. Basically, that's what it comes down to. But either way, we have to have a game plan. And that game plan is when you get these people in there, they have to wield power. And there's obviously some things you can't do at the state level. You can't have an immigration moratorium at the state level. However, if you are like in Texas or Arizona, for example, you might be able to sort of build the wall in some ways. We've talked about this. Don Huffines talked about this in Texas. You might be able to send down the state guard to patrol the border in some cases. You never know, but there are a lot of other things you could do. Reject, refugee resettlement programs and cut off entitlements to illegal aliens, because a lot of these weak RINO Republicans are just on board with that in many cases, even in these deep red states, and they wonder why their states are turning blue. They wonder why. Interesting. But big tech, they could actually try to pass bills similar to the original bill that was proposed to Ron DeSantis in Florida. It didn't really make it to his desk in like anything other than a shell of what it originally was, but like that matters too. Education. Conservatives are getting involved in school boards. We love to see that. And definitely like banning CRT, banning anti-white Marxism, banning indoctrination, having a more patriotic, pro-America curriculum. We could actually have that in many cases if you put the right people in power, because education is mostly a state level issue. And Republicans have shied away from it for so long, ceding ground to the left, but maybe we're actually seeing something change because more people are fed up and getting involved. We love to see it. You just look at all the issues. Abortion. Ban abortions as much as you possibly can. Roe might be going soon. You'll be able to ban them outright, which is good. The liberals are they're gonna shy away from that completely. And you do love to see it because they're going to call these states, oh, it's backward. They're not going to want to live there. And like, good, make them call it backward. We don't want them living here. And if they do live here, we got to be more confrontational. We got to say, hey, you shouldn't be wearing that mask. Hey, you have a BLM flag on your car or whatever. Go back to California. You're not welcome. Like, that's what we need to be doing, because that's what they do to us. They make us submit to them. No, we have to make them submit to us. And if we're unwilling to do it because we want to just like play nice or whatever, or play what we believe to be nice, we're never going to win. We're going to keep losing, and we're going to keep embarrassing ourselves. So that's all it comes down to. I'm not coming from a bad place when I'm saying this. I'm just telling people the truth. I know the truth may not always be that comfortable to hear. But either way, we have to do something because we are losing our country, but a lot of people are waking up and they see what's going on and they want to get involved. And as a result, like in a place like Idaho, for example, even though it's not perfect, McGeehan lost, and down ballot there were some, more establishmentarian characters like Mike Simpson that ended up winning their primaries, but still, you saw a lot of good people take power. And this is not just going to happen in Idaho, it's got to happen across the country. And either way, that's going to help. It's going to help build the bench up. It's going to help get more good elites in power, because we believe in hierarchy. We believe in power. Populism is just a means to an end. And if we can have people that are looking out for America's best interests in power, then we're going to have our country back eventually. So keep that in mind. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.